Hello, it's Nancy Matthews, author of The One Philosophy and 5 best-selling books, and also the co-founder of Women's Prosperity Network. And I wanted to share with you today a little bit about the importance of building and developing ourselves as leaders. And the most important, essential, really vital component to being an extraordinary leader is all about how you show up for, interact, and respond and respect other people. You may have heard me say before that everything in life comes to us somehow, some way through other people. And I know for myself, as well as for all of the leaders that I look up to, that I've studied with, the most powerful, extraordinary, and loving people in the world, they truly value humans. And they take time to ensure that they are treating everyone they deal with the highest level of respect. So I want to talk about here today what happens when conflict arises or when something's not going as you hoped it would. And I had a call today from a client who needed to have a conversation with one of their clients because they weren't happy with the way the communication was going. It seemed like they were disappointing them and the other person was not respectful in talking about the way they didn't like things. You know, you ever have one of those just where it's like oil and water mixing together? So she called me because she needed to have this difficult conversation. And what I inspired and invited her to do was first and foremost think about if this conversation could go the best way possible for your ideal outcome, what would that be? So I want you to consider this the next time you're stepping into a discussion or perhaps something you consider a confrontation or a difficult time. Ask yourself the question first. If this could go better than you could have expected and you get your ideal outcome, what would that look like? And when we went through this exercise together, it turns out that the ideal outcome was to be able to have a conversation to terminate the relationship on amicable terms by both parties recognizing, you know what, this really isn't a good fit for either of us. So let's agree to, go our separate ways. I'll give you a refund, whatever that is. So when we go into a situation and we bring our tension and we bring anger at the other person, or we bring worry or guilt or whatever it is that you're bringing to it, it doesn't serve for the best outcome. So always first think about, how do I want to feel? How do I want to show up in this interaction? And what would the ideal outcome be? I know that as you think about that, your ideal outcome is going to be one that honors you, yourself, and your wishes and desires, and it also honors the other person. That's an ideal outcome. And while you may not think it's possible, I want you to know that it is. And it begins to be possible when you believe it can be so. Even the most caustic, difficult person you've had to deal with, if you show up with an energy of frustration and anger, fear, doubt, worry, resistance, whatever shows up around you for that, you're bringing that energy to the interaction. And it only tends to elevate and inflate the level of that happens. Whereas if you bring to that conversation the intention, the hope, and the possibility that I'm going to show up and just be as loving and kind and understanding as I can and hold my ground. I'm not saying don't hold your ground, but seek understanding, seek to understand the other person's perspective rather than fighting to be understood. So I hope this helps you the next time you're in a situation where the conversation may be, a little challenging or difficult, or you have some resistance around it. This is it for now. We'll be back more with some great tips on being an extraordinary leader and living the One Philosophy.